First off, hi, how are you? Welcome to my channel. I'm Michelle, and I just want to go over sort of what I've been reading, what I've read so far this month, completed, what I'm in the middle of, and kind of my plans for the rest of the month. We'll see how this goes. The first book I read was a library book. It was on the Booker long list. It did not make it to the short list. It was Wild Houses by Colin Barrett. I have been interested in reading Colin Barrett for a while, and this was the first book I've read of his. I think this might be his first novel, and he's written short stories. I might be wrong about that. So this was a semi-crime story. It featured a guy that has a house, a guy who has a house. I think his name was Dev. I don't have the book with me. I had to return it. He had been taking care of his mom. His mom died. So he was left the house that they lived in, and his cousins are kind of low-level drug dealers, I guess, in their area. And they kind of get Dev involved in a situation. And so one night they show up with Doll. And Doll is he's like the middleman for his brother in the drug game, I guess. It was a little bit confusing. I think I pretty much could tell who was on what side, but how they fit into the story, wasn't really sure. I really felt like it was about family. It was about friendship. It was about trying to find a place for yourself. There was some teen angst for sure in there, and I liked this. I liked a couple of the characters. I liked the writing style, but the story kind of fell flat for me. It wasn't gripping. It wasn't especially moving. It was just kind of middle of the road for me. I ended up giving it 3 stars, and I will read Colin Barrett again. I have one of his books on my TBR. I want to say it's short stories, but my memory's not doing hot today. So the next one I read, if you saw the Read With Me in the Mountains, you'll know that I read Bear by Julia Phillips in the mountains. This has been a recent purchase for me from Book of the Month. And this is about 2 sisters, Elena and Sam. And Elena's the older sister. They are taking care of their mom in an island, in a house that's been in the family for a long time. It's on an island off the coast of Washington. And their mom's been sick for a long time. And they're basically, Elena and Sam are trying to make ends meet by working in the more tourist industry. And Sam works on the ferries that go back and forth. And she one night sees a bear in the water, which is unusual for their area. And then the story goes from there. It is a story about sisterhood in a way, I would say. They're only, and I can't remember exactly, they're only like a year apart, if that. They don't know who their father or fathers are. Their moms never really talked about it. Their grandmother used to live or own the house. And there's some connection to her in the house still and in the story. I did not like this story at all. What did I put down? I put boring, melodramatic. One of the sisters, because it talks about in the blurb, it talks about obsession, and there is, and the community kind of becomes obsessed with this bear, and one of the sisters is definitely more obsessed with the bear than the other. But then one of the sisters is obsessed with the other sister in a way that to me doesn't seem super healthy. Not that fictional characters have to have, I mean, they usually don't have healthy attachments. So that's definitely a part of it that I felt was bordering on creepy. And after I finished this, I also read it in the mountains, but there was no scare factor or anything like that. Not that I expected there to be, but I just thought reading a novel called Bear in the woods in the mountains, I was going for a vibe. This did not play its part. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah. After I read this, I read reviews. I try not to read reviews beforehand because typically that'll spoil something without meaning to spoil something. When I read it after, it was, one of the reviewers said it's written as an adult novel, felt like a YA. And that I completely agree with. I had to remind myself that these sisters are in their late 20s because it felt like they were in their late teens, especially Sam, the younger one. So I gave it 2 stars. Will be unhauling it. So the next one, I listened to The Year of Less by Kate Flanders. This was an audiobook from the library that a friend had recommended to me, and it is about Kate Flanders living a no-buy year, where she declutters and gets rid of stuff, donates stuff, and also doesn't buy anything new. I've seen it done. I've read about it in other places. So it does make you think about things, which I found helpful. But it was the way her storytelling was mostly, I don't know. It wasn't really, didn't grab me, didn't really, didn't find it too engaging. And it might have been the audiobook. She read it herself. So I did not rate that one. I also tried to listen to Teach Me by Olivia Dade. This was for a book club I was going to go to. And I really liked the premise. It was about two older main characters. The woman, both are divorced. The man is divorced with a child, older child. And I liked that the female character, which I think this is pretty consistent in Olivia Dade's writing, the female character was curvy and not typical 20-something-year-old and that we see in a lot of romance novels. She was in her 40s, I think. And she was very successful in her career. The male character was the one that was inexperienced in relationships and kind of nerdy, and I liked that, not always having this aggressive male main character in romance novels. But overall, it just wasn't for me. It was like some of the flirting and the banter wasn't, it was a little eye-rolling for me. So, and that was just me. I think it was really just me and where I was at with reading romance, because I don't read a lot of it. So I DNF'd that one. I'm not writing off Olivia Dade. I might try something else by her down the road. So the next one I read is Devout by Anna Gazmarian. This is about a woman who is raised in the evangelical church and in her late teens is diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and just how she was raised, any kind of mental health issue or disability was seen as a result of sinful behavior, not praying hard enough, all the platitudes. And I could relate a lot to what Anna talks about, mainly because I've been in evangelical churches a lot, and while that, when you say evangelical church, it's kind of lost its meaning in a way, and it's very broad on what you would experience at one church is not the same as you would another church. What I did appreciate about Anna's experience is it's not what you expect, for sure. She doesn't abandon her faith. Like, her faith remains. She questions whether it can, but it does remain. And she kind of breaks up with the church and tries different churches and different pastors and different Christian counselors. And I really encourage Christians to read this, especially. I listened to the audiobook. It was not narrated by Anna. It was narrated, the name escapes me. I think it's Rachel Long. I think it's Rachel. I'll put it right below. But it was a good audiobook. It's quick too. This counted for Shorty September because it's only like 170 pages. So highly recommend it. And then she also, which I appreciate, includes some resources, research, articles, podcasts to listen to. A great book. And for me, a NetGalley, my second NetGalley book. The next one I read was So Lucky by Nicola Griffith. This was also for Shorty September. It's 178 pages. This is about a woman named Mara who kind of has it all and then develops multiple sclerosis, and her experience of that, losing her job, her wife, and any kind of like sense of security with all of that. I appreciated that it was written by a woman, Nicola Griffith, who has MS. So the experiences, commentary on that being diagnosed, and the different treatments, some of the different communities that the main character got involved with, felt very real. And I'm not sure, maybe there's a bit of this that I'm just not smart for. It felt like, to me, a internal battle with internalized ableism, I think, or I don't know. That's just kind of, I just got a weird vibe from it. But I can see it being that internalized ableism as someone who was diagnosed with my disability when I was an adult. It's an experience that you do have to confront your own internalized ableism, for many to a great extent. So there's that. There's definitely that kind of feeling vibe that you get. It then kind of goes off the rails, and I was not enjoying it. I rated it 2 stars. That's that. I am currently reading, I'm still reading A Matter of Appearance, is a memoir by Emily Wells about a ballerina who develops an autoimmune disorder. I'm still my buddy read with A Prayer for Owen Meanie by John Irving. I'm actually enjoying it, which is surprising to me because it's not really, there's no plot. It's just Johnny is the main character, and he's the narrator, and he is recalling stories from his life with his best friend Owen Meanie. But I am almost halfway through. I'm a little behind on our buddy read, but I should catch up this weekend, hopefully. And then I just started another buddy read. This is for Shorty September too. This is Old Caledonia by Elspeth Barker. And I have just started this. So it is a darkly humorous modern classic about a doomed adolescent girl. And it's one of the type of books that starts with the murder and then moves backwards. Or I should say, it starts with the murder and then goes to her birth. So I'm enjoying it so far. The writing's a little bit old worldy, if you get what I mean by that. A little bit classical. It was written in, I feel like it was written in the 60s or the 70s, or maybe, no, it was written in the 90s. It was written in the 90s. But it definitely feels like that old worldy type of writing. She published her first novel at the age of 51. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with my reading, where I'm at with what I've read so far this month. It, like I said, it's been some weird reading months. I am going to focus on what I've got going right now. I'm not going to push myself. I'm really in a moody, let me try that again. I'm really in a mood reading place right now. I am just kind of doing what I feel like doing. It's still my birthday month, and I'm spending a lot of time with Remy, my dog who has cancer, and doing a little bit of writing. I just feel like that for me is cathartic, and journaling. So that's where I'm at so far in September. How's your reading going? Have you read any great books? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to support my channel, please hit the subscribe button and share if you would like. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.